operating farm in Trumbull Township. I've been elected to my third term. I'm serving my third term as a Trumbull Township trustee. I'm a small business owner. In addition to the farm, I have some other small business interests. Now back to the Court of Appeals. The Court of Appeals hears appeals from trial courts in 5 counties: Lake, Geauga, Portage, Trumbull, and Ashtabula. And there are 5 judges on the Court of Appeals. There are currently 3 liberals and 2 more conservative judges on the Court of Appeals. They sit on panels of 3. Okay, so here's a statistic you should recall when you walk out of here. If you have a case that goes to the Court of Appeals in the 11th District, there's a 70% chance that a majority of the judges on your case have a liberal mentality. Okay? We can flip that. Jeff's running for the other position on the Court of Appeals. It would be great to make that 4-to-1. Okay? So we shift the balance a little bit. And that's very important because for the most part, the Ashtabula County Common Pleas judges and trial court judges and Portage County and Trumbull County are all very liberal. The lower courts are very liberal. And it's very difficult once a case gets to the Court of Appeals to get it overturned. So that 70% number is something to remember. Another thing to remember is that of my opponent, of cases authored by my opponent in the Court of Appeals that actually reached the Supreme Court, very few cases reached the Supreme Court from the Court of Appeals because it's not an appeal as of right. The Supreme Court has to determine whether they want to take the case. But of the cases that my opponent wrote the opinions on that actually went to the Supreme Court and were decided by the Supreme Court, 60% of them were reversed in part, reversed in full, or vacated. Okay? And of the 12 cases of which he was on the panel of 3 that went to the Supreme Court and were actually reviewed by the Supreme Court, 8 of those 12 were reversed in part, or vacated by the Supreme Court. How many people here, when you were a little boy or little girl, took a paper from school home that had a 40% on it and read and stuck it on the refrigerator and said, "Mom and Dad, look what I did this week"? Not very many of us. That's an abysmal track record. Okay, and you know we need one of the reasons for that track record is there's a great attempt by lots of Court of Appeals judges to monkey with the law. You know, legislators write the law. Courts are not supposed to rewrite the law. They're supposed to interpret the law in the manner in which it was intended when it was written. And they get on the slippery slope of trying to interpret things, and that creates a problem. So I think substantively I can do better. And I can do better for you. I can do better for the citizens in the other 4 counties. I'd like to talk a little bit about court administration now. How many people have ever seen the Court of Appeals budget? It's your money. I haven't either. I can't find it. I've looked for it. I've had other people look for it. The budget of the Court of Appeals should be posted on its website. You should see where every dime of your money goes. Okay? Another thing happened, and has anyone here ever seen a job posted for the Court of Appeals so that the Court of Appeals management who's hiring employees make sure that they give everyone with an interest in the job an opportunity to express that interest? Anyone ever seen those? No. Okay? The cronyism, the way positions are filled down there other than judges who are all elected, but there should be a posting system. Anyone who's interested in the job should be able to post. There's a tight job market for attorneys. Judicial attorneys, some people call them law clerks. You know, those are decent jobs. Those should not be cronyism or political appointments, okay? You should get the best person for the job. Other issues regarding court administration, there's, give or take a few percentage points, about 62% of the cases that go to the Court of Appeals are actually heard and decided within the time frames that are set by the Ohio Supreme Court. We're 7th out, there are 12 districts total, we're 7th out of 12 in completing cases on time. Okay? Again, When you were a kid, you went home from school and said, there's 12 kids in the class, and I'm 7th. Isn't that good, Mom and Dad? That didn't cut it at my house. It would never have cut it at my house. So there are issues regarding administration that we need to work on. There are issues regarding the merits of appeals that are decided. And I would appreciate it if you would consider me when you're considering Court of Appeals candidates. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ron. Our next candidate is Jeff Weaver, who is running also for the 11th District Court of Appeals.
Thank you. I want to thank Chuck, the Liberty Coalition, and all of you, or them for inviting me, and all of you for being here. And I want to say a special hello to my old friend Dave Jennis, who I haven't seen in a while. Hello, Dave. Good to see you. It's always tough following Ron, and I can't promise anything running for judge, except I will do my best to reverse this tendency to go in alphabetical order, because I'm always last. I don't like that. It's been like that since I was a kid. Now, I know some of you, but I don't know all of you, so I want to briefly tell you a little bit about me. I grew up in southern Indiana on a farm. I went to DePaul University, Columbia University, and graduated from New York University School of Law, which is very liberal, but I am not. I survived. I started working as an attorney here in Lake County, in the Lake County Prosecutor's Office. I think I got the job that John O'Donnell vacated, I think, when Steve LaTourette hired me. I know that's not your favorite name around here. And I worked with Judge Bartolotta for a couple of years. I then went into private practice. I was with one law firm for 15 years, which was 5 years too long, but I was with them for 15 years. I have a broad background. I've practiced in about every area of law you can, except patent and trademark and that stuff where you need a different bar exam. I've probably been involved in about 50 appeals in the 11th District Court of Appeals, including, you all remember, the Lundgren cases, the cult cases. I wrote those briefs, and they were, you know what happened. So, they were successful. I have, for the last 3.5 years or so, had my own practice in Mentor. It's originally called the Weaver Law Firm, which, whatever. I want to tell you a couple things, though, that I think matter to this group. I am pro-life. I support strongly the Second Amendment. I'm a member of the NRA, and I will do what I can on the Court of Appeals to uphold the values that go with taking those positions. The Court of Appeals is something that not too many people know much about. It's in Warren. It covers 5 counties. As Ron said, and it's always hard to follow Ron because he says half the stuff I want to say, but it reviews the trial court cases of everybody who wants to appeal from any trial court in those 5 counties. I think what I would add to that court is an adherence to the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of Ohio, and adherence to the law. And just as Ron said, there is a tendency for appellate level judges and our Supreme Court, and worst of all, the federal courts, to make it up as they go and do what they want. You can't do it that way. I think we need courts who simply apply the law. It's not that hard. There are some gray areas, we all know that, but it can be done, and that's what I would like to do. I have an opponent who is, I would say, well-funded, but not particularly distinguished as a jurist, and as of late, she has taken to reversing some criminal convictions in various courts in the county for reasons only known to her. But I've read those opinions. I don't think much of them. I'm not going to get into it here because nobody will understand it, and nobody cares except maybe Judge Bartolotta, who does care about one of them in particular. But I think I could do a better job. And that's why I'm running. I'm not just running to throw my name on the ballot. I'm not just